there's a great video interview with Tucker Carlson just from, I think it was yesterday. I shared it on my Facebook page. I know a lot of people don't believe in this geoengineering thing. Those of you that just disregard that out of hand, you've not looked into it, or you've gone to like Wikipedia, which, if you haven't done your research on Wikipedia, you don't know that Wikipedia lies all the time. Anybody can change the material there. It's not accurate. So I got turned on to this. Boy, let me set this up for you. So I got first into this whole discussion here on this topic. I think it was 2008. That was a big year here in LA, because that was my famous UFO pictures came out that year. But one day I got up and I looked outside and I saw something the sky had never seen before. And the sky was literally gridded out. So lines going in both directions like a grid above Los Angeles. Out my back window there, looking east. And I thought, what the hell is that? What is that about? I've never seen that before. That's crazy. And then I looked out the front window, same thing. All of LA County, at least what I could see, you know, from where I'm at anyhow, this whole area, as far as the eye could see, was gridded out. Lines going, probably a mile or more between each one, but which makes it look small up in the sky. Totally gridded out. I didn't know what that was, but I stayed in my house for 3 days. And I started looking into this. And then I'd already known about HAARP, and I started putting that together, and I started going down the rabbit hole on this. And then a lot of people are like, oh, that's garbage, it's conspiracy theory, some of you think it's commercial airlines, all of that. So I started applying the scientific method, number one, observation. And I posted a lot of this out there already. But you can see that it turns on and turns off sometimes in these planes. You can see it. I've captured it on film. Where the plane's going, there's a long trail, it stops. Plane goes a little bit further, they turn it on again. I've seen it where, and I've recorded it where one plane after another will go right behind the other one. Some of you will say, well, that's commercial air flight. But the other thing I've done is I've mapped out with a map where the airports are. and because commercial airlines don't fly in other areas. They go from point A to point B, straight line. I got to pick something up here. And when they do that because fuel is expensive. That's what you're paying for when you're buying a plane ticket. So you start realizing, like, okay, these planes are not flying from one airport to the next. They're flying in bizarre directions that aren't coming from an airport or going to another airport. That's important. Then you start looking up from time to time and you realize, why is there no spraying at all? And it's weeks or months where you see normal looking clouds and no planes in the sky. Other than, I mean, if you're lucky, you might see an airline. And then you'll see what's an actual contrail, right? Which is what people want to call these things. Because they'll say, hey man, the air's colder up there and the warmth of the moisture coming out of the jet engine is creating these condensation trails. Yes. But you can tell the difference even if you don't know what you're looking at once I explain it to you, which is you look up when you see a real contrail. I show pictures of that and film of that all the time here. The contrail only goes to about maybe 3 lengths of the plane or more, and then it dissipates quickly. If that was a thing, you would see clouds hovering over, of dense clouds around cars in cold climates everywhere on the highway. You know, it'd be like a constant fog on the highway if what you're saying is true. That's not what's going on. And early on, when I started looking into this, I started finding these scientists who've been testing everything. They've been testing the air quality, soil, water, plants, and they've got much higher than normal, and in a different form, aluminum, strontium, chromium, barium, all these particulate metals. It's out there. And I think I mentioned it a moment ago, but Tucker Carlson had this guy on this within the last day or so talking about it. And so that's, and I, you know, whatever your opinions are of Tucker, it's fine. I don't care. I don't. I have my own personal thing with him. I'm a fan of his work. Ouch. My joints are in bad shape. I'm a fan of his work. I don't agree with his position on everything, and I think he's kind of a spoiled rich kid, and that's fine. Doesn't matter. He has done a lot of good things, but he's on top of the UFO thing too. So I think that's interesting, which a lot of you are going to think makes him less credible because you don't believe in anything unless you've seen it yourself, and you keep going to the same sources that keep lying to you, and that's why you don't believe everything, and that's fine. I'm saying you should look into this, and I've been under the weather, not feeling good for days, and now normally in the past, you could, it was so, when I didn't feel like well, I would look outside and I would notice there's spraying in the sky. I didn't do that this time because I've seen no spraying here for months. We've had beautiful skies. I haven't mentioned it verbally, but I've shown it to you. Once in a while I'll pan up and you'll see this beautiful blue sky or real clouds, that sort of thing, and it's been wonderful and I've felt great. But for the last several days, I've really not felt well at all. And Sunday I realized, I went out there and I looked up and I went, oh, they're spraying. And then yesterday I really noticed that, oh, they're spraying. And I meant to say something about it yesterday. And I get distracted and busy. And when I'm not feeling good, my brain's not working right. And the thing about me is, and I don't know that you're all the same. I don't think you are. But I'm a pretty healthy guy. I eat pretty healthy. I don't eat processed foods or anything like that. I'm not polluting my body with medications and all that sort of thing. And I am hypersensitive. I eat something, ingest something, breathe something, whatever. My body reacts to it pretty much instantaneously. I'm a great litmus test for anything. People know me long enough, been around me enough, know that. If my body is weird, there's something going on. I ingested something, I drank or ate something, or breathe something in that's not normal, and it affects me. And that's what's going on. It's a correlation. Correlation is not causation, but it's just something that I've noticed. Whenever I feel this way, where I feel like I'm getting sick and I have like this ache thing in my upper back and a throat thing and a head fog and a headache, I look out and they're spraying. That's me. Might not be you. But I can tell you, I've always been a guy looking at the sky ever since I was a little kid. And I never saw that before, the spraying thing, until the 2000s. That's when it jumped out at me. And then when you look into it, you see it. Now, since then, I've shown it. I've talked about it. And it's amazing. There's been times where I've been driving across the country. I had a friend with me one time. I was explaining it to him, and we were driving back from Arizona. And we watched, it was a clear sky, and I said, see that? Watch. And then more and more planes started coming as we got closer to LA. And next thing you know, the sky was gridded out. Then you couldn't see the grid so much, it just became like a white sky. It's called No More Blue Sky. # No More Blue Sky. Look into that. So he watched it happen as we got closer to California and closer to LA. One time I was driving through Arkansas, and I was heading west, and all through Arkansas it was just pew, 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 pew. And I'm pretty sure I filmed that. And as soon as I crossed the border, which there's not a border there, it's not like a border crossing, but as soon as I got to the next state, it was a blue sky. And the crazy thing was all the spraying was going on in Arkansas where there was crops, which was kind of fucked up. It was all farmland crops growing. I got into the next state, and it stopped completely. It was like there was a line in the sky of from here back was just spraying and white, and then it was a blue sky. And it was a line. So that's not normal. And other people have shown this too. So you don't actually have to know what you're talking about. You could just see it. All right. Now I had a friend that worked. He was in the Navy, and he was a crew chief on the hell is it? The transport plane, C-47, and he spent most of his time in the air. He spent more time in the air than he did on the ground, and he was flying stuff over to the Middle East and all that, and they would go over the Arctic Circle and had these different extreme routes. And he told me, he said, Mike, contrails, like a genuine contrail, is actually rare. You see it because there's a lot of flights, but he says that's a rare thing. He said, in all the time he spent, thousands of hours in the air, he said he only ever noticed his plane do it one time. So, yeah, it's a thing. So I encourage you, I'll find the link for the Tucker Carlson interview. You can put it, and I'll put it in the description box below, and I'll do that right now. And you guys can make up your own minds. And you can disagree with me all you want. You're not going to change my mind. I've put too much time into looking into it. Multiple universities, peer-reviewed studies, chemical analysis. On top of that, people have said it. Bill Gates admitted to funding this. The guise is to cool down the planet, right? They're bouncing back the solar radiation, the heat, to keep the planet cooler, which is not a good thing because that's a whole other discussion. All right, the climate change debate now thing is kind of falling apart. We know what the truth is, and if you don't know that, you should look into it. But at any rate, it's bullshit. This is about poisoning us for some reason. That's what's going on. And when you think like the pharmaceutical companies have made, what I posted something yesterday, like $1.27 trillion last year, and like none of it goes to teaching you how to be healthier. This is a conspiracy theory, totally, 100%. I'm just pulling this out of my ass. If you got that kind of money, you could fund that, keep the whole world sick, so people are buying meds. You know what I'm saying? But we're breathing it in, and it's in the food supply, and it's in the water supply, and everything else. And it reminds me of the movie with Charlie Sheen, that which is a fun movie. It's effed up, but I can't think of the name of it. It's the alien one, and he goes down to South America, and Ron Silver is the heavy in it, and there's a bunch of versions of Ron Silver because the aliens put on these human avatars, these human suits basically, and they're terraforming our planet for their own physiological system. And in that one, they're heating the planet up, right? Because the whole scare there was the planet getting too warm. And if you know the truth about temperatures on the planet, when the planet's warmer, it's healthier. And the planet has been much, much warmer than it is now during the medieval warming period, and going way back. You can just look at the records. And when the planet's warmer, it supports plant and animal life in areas that are too cold to support it now. And that produces more carbon. So it's not that carbon creates global warming. That's a lie. It's the planet always warmed first and carbon followed. If you don't know this, please do your research before you type that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I put months. I took 3 months off of my life at one point and studied all this. I read peer-reviewed scientific. If I didn't understand something, I looked it up till I understood that. Then I went back and read this stuff. And it's the actual reality, the truth is out there. It's up to you to find it, but you can't depend on the normal media because they're lying to us. So at any rate, I think there's something to it. I know there is, and it's coming out. They've talked about the UN. There's states now that are making it illegal to do it. You think that that's fantasy? That there's states that are making it illegal to spray above their states, which doesn't mean anything. It's like if they spray right next to you, depending on the wind currents, it's going to go over your state anyhow. So that's going to be a tough one. But there's legislation out there about it right now, and there's plenty of countries. They talked about the UN. Heads of state of other countries have discussed it. There's pictures of it happening all over the planet. I mean, there's countries that don't, they might have 1 or 2 airports. And then you look up above, and the whole sky's grayed out in every direction with these lines that are being left behind by planes. What the hell is that about? There can't be that many flights in that country. You understand what I'm saying? Like, once you start applying common sense to what you're seeing, it doesn't make sense. And it's cognitive dissonance to ignore this and accept the conspiracy theory narrative. At any rate, I'm just throwing that out there for you. Call me crazy. I've been called worse. Have a good day. Be kind to one another, and I'll catch you in the next one.